Well, good afternoon. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is Fight Back, the flagship program of fightbackmedia.com. To learn more about fightbackmedia.com, go to fightbackmedia.com and click around and see who we're promoting and what we're promoting and what we're all about. We're here to push back and destroy the dangerous and the dangerous and destructive narrative of mainstream media and pop culture. We're here to destroy it and replace it with something that is beneficial and helpful and uplifting to urban America. We believe that the saving and the healing of urban America will indeed be the healing and saving of America in total. So thank you again for coming today. Thank you for listening. More importantly, thank you for sharing this broadcast with your friends and your neighbors, because we have some interesting information to pass on you today. Some interesting insight, I think. The title of the show is, as you could see, it is Urban America who has the most to lose with a Hillary Clinton win tomorrow. I don't know how many people have already voted. I know that early voting in most places is done. It is here. We are in West Central Florida. Early voting ended yesterday. We have a lot of early voting and a lot of vote by mail, that kind of thing. So I don't know how many people are actually going to the polls tomorrow. If you're going to the polls tomorrow, send me an email at wls860@gmail.com if you're going to the polls tomorrow. I'd love to hear from you. If you're going to the polls tomorrow, and I'd love to hear from you if you go to fightbackmedia.com and sign up for our mailing list, I would really, really appreciate it. Go to fightbackmedia.com, scroll down, and sign up for our mailing list, so you will get our newsletters that we're starting in January. We're starting a monthly newsletter about all the things that we're up to and all the insight, and only those people on that list will be able to get that exclusive information. Links to important videos that maybe you have not seen anywhere else, that are exclusive, so we need you to sign up. Go to fightbackmedia.com, scroll down to the email list, and get on that list. Now, you may be, frankly, on a list that I already have, but in order to get all the important stuff, all the good stuff that will be produced by fightbackmedia.com, you want to be on that list. So go right now to fightbackmedia.com and sign up for our mailing list there. That way you get all that good information starting in January 2017 and beyond. All right, listen, we're going to talk about what nobody else is talking about, which is kind of what we do. We're always discussing things that nobody else is really talking about. And it's a shame that nobody's talking about it, because these issues are extremely important, and really have and if not dealt with, will have a deleterious effect on our nation moving forward, not just this election cycle, but for every election cycle for the next 30 years. Why do I say that the urban community has the most to lose with the Hillary Clinton presidency? Well, it's according to a concept that I've already developed. It's the C concept: security, education, and economics. So we're going to address all three of those facets and what we could probably expect from a Hillary Clinton presidency that is not helpful to the urban community in all three of those major areas. We can probably all agree that most communities, the urban community, the suburban community, the rural community, needs those three elements of your community to prosper. You need obviously you need security. You need to feel safe where you are, and actually not only feel safe, you need to be safe where you are. You also need a good educational system, and then also you need a vibrant economy. Now, whether that's an agricultural economy, whether that's a retail economy like it may be in a suburban atmosphere, or it is a business economy like it may be in a more urban. You know what I mean? Business, not just retail, in a more urban environment. You need to have those three ingredients to have a successful community. And if Hillary Clinton gets elected, it's doubtful, in my mind, that the urban community will benefit in any of those areas. The first area we're going to talk about is security, because I believe that is extremely important. Unless you are actually secure, unless you are in an environment where you are safe to open a business, you are safe to walk down the street, where you are safe in your home, then nothing else can move from there. Everything jumps off at the place where you feel comfortable, where you feel safe, where you are safe, where your neighbors are safe. And as you can tell, when you have leftist, Marxist, Democrats in charge of not only cities but of the country, there is a much higher propensity for dangerous protests. Leftists, Marxists, anarchists come to major cities, urban areas, and destroy those areas. It becomes much more dangerous when there isn't a focus on law enforcement. When the focus moves from law enforcement to lawbreakers, then what you'll have is more law breaking and making communities not safer but more dangerous. There's a guy running for state attorney in this area who is pushing an agenda that stops criminals from being arrested. Now, I get this because this sounds like a really good idea, but the idea is passing out tickets for criminal offenses, citations for criminal offenses, because we don't want young people to be involved in the criminal justice system and have a record and be arrested. So what we're going to do is if you're young enough, we're going to pass out a civil citation as opposed to arresting you and putting your ass in jail. And not as an alternative, but by, from a judge, but by, a general course. That's how we're going to do it. We're just going to if you get caught with an illegal amount of marijuana, we're just going to give you a ticket, send you back home. If it's some petty theft crime, we're just going to give you a ticket and send you home. Because we're afraid that if you get a record and you end up in our system, you may never get out. So what is that going to do? Is that going to tamp down crime in these areas? Or is that going to encourage crime? Is that going to encourage crime? My belief is that encourages crime. That encourages people to go ahead and commit these criminal offenses. It allows people in the urban community to get it twisted that it's okay if your kid is caught with a little bit of pot that's illegal or other drugs that are illegal. It's okay if they steal from the bodega down the street because it's just a petty crime. It's okay. Here's a ticket. You go pay the ticket. It'll be all right. What kind of society, what kind of community are we encouraging by this activity? And we'll see more of this kind of activity when you have people like Hillary Clinton in the White House, when you have more people just like the Department of Justice person we have now, people running the DOJ now, when you have people like James Comey running the FBI. What kind of society will you have? Are you encouraging? You're not even just letting it go. You're encouraging a behavior. Now, we have to understand that everything that you do is habit. Loretta Lynch, thank you. I forget. I'm trying to forget these people's names as quickly as I can. When you have people like Loretta Lynch, thank you, and that's Paul Swanson out there. Swanson, S-E-N, from paulswanson.com, because it's Swedish. So a lot of great writing, a lot of great insight from my friend Paul Swanson at paulswanson.com. Go there now. Sign up for his mailing list. Hit the frickin' tip jar. Just do it. Stop rolling your eyes. Just frickin' do it. Stop with the big sighs. Just do it. Hit the frickin' tip jar. But what kind of societies and cultures in urban America are you encouraging? Are you saying it's okay if you're black and you're poor to steal? And where does that stop? At what dollar amount is it not okay to steal from us? How many times can I get away with it? Because now you're developing a culture of thieves. You're developing a culture. Now you're developing a culture of people who believe it's okay at some level to break the law. Are you doing this on purpose? Because if you were going to destroy a community from the inside, that's exactly what you would do. You would take out the rule of law, and you would change what's good and bad, and you would switch them, and it would destroy itself. It would self-destruct. And if urban America is not safe, it will self-destruct. And if you can do and everything you do to make it less safe gets it closer and closer to self-destructing. Everything you do to make it less safe pushes it closer to the brink of destruction. And this is the kind of attitude and this is the kind of thought that we get from Hillary Clinton and her ilk, Loretta Lynch, James Comey. This is the kind of stuff that we get from them. Why? Because I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 times more, is that there isn't any love for urban America in the world of leftist Marxist Democrats. There's no love for urban America. There damn sure isn't any love for black people. That's for doggone sure. Outside of being ready to vote for them. That's the only thing. That's it. It's nothing else. It's nothing more. It never has been. And that's the thing. It never has been. Never. Never has been. Keep enough people in the hood so when it comes time for elections, especially in those areas, you can win those districts. You can keep those people in Congress. You can keep those people in the state house and in the state senate. You can keep those people on the city council. That way you can make sure you can keep control of those areas. That's all it's about, really. In the meantime, if the community is on fire and self-destructing, and you allow, the anarchists and the leftists to come in and burn down those areas every time there is a protest of some sort, that tells you that they don't give a crap. That's one of the things that urban America has to lose with an election of Hillary Clinton. There'll be more of that. There will be more of just that. Frankly, I don't think that urban America survives what black people in this country survive another 2 or 3 generations of what's been going on in places like Detroit and East St. Louis and Ferguson and Philadelphia. I don't think urban America survives it. Because I do believe that times are desperate, that we are in desperate times in urban America. That we are months away, in some places, of Thunderdome, of having whole areas, and I know this sounds hyperbolic and alarmist, of having whole areas roped off or fenced off because how dangerous they are. Forgetting that little old grandmas on Social Security live in these places and are prisoners. That children are held prisoner. by marauding gangs. Even now, by marauding gangs. The lack of policing. And you're saying, what are you talking about? The lack of policing. There's been a lot of policing. Think how many black people have been shot by police. More people have been struck by lightning. More black people have been struck by lightning than have been killed by police in the last 10 years. It's ridiculous. That's insane. So what we're starting to see in Baltimore is a riot. What we started to see after all the Freddie Gray nonsense. Freddie Gray, yeah, I think that was his name. The dude in Paul, was that the guy's name in Baltimore? Or was Freddie Gray in New York? I start to confuse this nonsense. But after all of that, what did we start to see in Baltimore? We started to see a huge rise in violent crime in the urban areas of Baltimore. Yeah, Freddie Gray. We started to see a why? Because the police do two things. They're afraid to do their jobs, or they just don't go. What kind of safety and security can we expect if the police just won't go? You call them and they just don't go. What you're encouraging is anarchy. Death, destruction, and poverty. That's what you're encouraging. And I think that's what the left is encouraging in urban America. And it'll be tenfold, 100-fold under a Hillary Clinton presidency. And whatever judges that she appoints and whatever crimes they decide not to prosecute with the help of people like Loretta Lynch, and maybe even seeing at some point Barack Obama slither back into the mix, either as a Supreme Court justice nominee or in some other position of power in a Clinton presidency. Or even Bill Clinton slithering back in some position of power. Yes. Paul says what is being encouraged is citizens exercising our Second Amendment rights. You better, because without the Second Amendment, you don't have the other 9. Now, I am not sitting here calling for everybody. I mean, this is no call to arms, but you better be aware of what's happening around you. This is no call to arms. But with the Hillary Clinton presidency, if you are a fan of the Second Amendment, if you are a fan of being able to exercise your Second Amendment rights, you damn sure better get on board with what's going on in the next couple of days. You better get on board. I don't know if Bill, Paul's asking from the chat room, if Obama and Bill still have their law licenses. I believe that Bill still does. From what I understand, Obama does not still have his law license, and neither does Michelle. But that doesn't stop them from being appointed, because you don't need to be a lawyer to be a Supreme Court justice. You don't need to be a judge. You need to be appointed, and Congress needs to say okay. The Senate needs to say okay. There are no other requirements than that. So there could be God knows who nominated to be Supreme Court justices. Now, I'm of the mind that the number that's on there now, 8, works great. It started off with 5. 5? Yes. It doesn't have to be 9. There's nothing in the Constitution that says it has to be 9. And I think this is part of the dumbing down of America, that we think that it has to be 9. But all these things can cause problems with the C aspect in the urban community for generations, not just a little bit, not just 4 years, but for generations. So if anybody's got you thinking election cycle to election cycle this particular time, guess what? Ignore them. Listen to me. Listen, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of Fight Back right after these messages. You're tired of the cold? You're tired of the taxes? It's time to move to Florida. And our friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay is the perfect person to help you. You can just give Gary a call at 813-770-9452, or you can go to the website to look for your brand new home at www.newhomestpa.com. Move to Florida. It's about time. Information is crucial when you're looking to purchase a new home. With so many choices of communities and options, choosing the right one for you and your family can be a daunting task. That's why you need to go to New Homes of Tampa Bay right now, www.newhomestpa.com, and get the information you need. Learn how people save thousands of dollars when purchasing new homes. Buy like the pros. New Homes, Tampa Bay, www.newhomestpa.com. It's all the rage to call and order flowers from 1-800-whatever, or go online and order them from some nameless, faceless person on the other end. I'm saying you should do something different. You should, before doing that, call my friends at Blooming Days Flower Shop, located right here in Tampa, Florida, at 11618 North Florida Avenue, 33612. Christine and her staff don't look at just the order. They look at the customer. They look at your occasion. They consider the entire person, the entire occasion, before making decisions about design and price. You're more than just a customer. You're a friend. Call our friends at Blooming Days Flower Shop, toll free at 1-800-330-3297. 1-800-330-3297. Local 813-971-5947. 813-971-5947. You can reach them on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. Nothing fits a home perfectly than a brand new grand piano. And if you're looking for a piano for your brand new home, you've got to visit Dave's Piano. And that's davespianoshowroom.com. If you're looking for the perfect thing to set off your new home, a piano is what you're looking for. And my friend Dave has the perfect piano for you. And the best thing about buying a piano from Dave is that he does everything. He delivers, he sets up, he tunes, he takes care of everything. The best part about Dave's Piano, quite frankly, is Dave. So when you buy a piano from Dave's Piano Showroom, you only deal with Dave. You can reach them at www.davespianoshowroom.com. That's davespianoshowroom.com. Fight Back Media is on the road. We are all right, we're back. We're not on the road today. We're not on the road. We're right here in the Fight Back Media studios, in the Fight Back Media compound. Thank you for coming today. We're talking about what the urban community has to lose with an election, the election of Hillary Clinton as president, and that the urban community, frankly, has a lot more to lose than I think the rest of the country. Really, I do. I think that, again, the part that is the sickest cannot sustain any more of the disease that is mainstream media, that is any of that stuff. It just can't. It can't sustain the weight. It can't sustain the weight. The first thing we talked about was security. What we're going to talk about next is education. This is something I've added to the show. I think you'll like it. This is a lot of fun. If you think that public schools are the only way and the best way for our kids to learn, wrong. If you think that unions aren't driving the narrative on public schools, forcing kids in the urban areas to stay there simply to uphold their power, position, and prosperity, you are wrong. If you think that Hillary Clinton and any of her ilk are going to allow you in the urban community to seek out charter schools, to seek out school vouchers because you are concerned with the education of your children, you are going to be sadly wrong. And that's a shame. Because it's one of those things, really, that's one of the keys in RC, SEE, that will lead to a revival and a renaissance of urban America. And not just a renaissance in art, in music. You know, the Harlem Renaissance was about art and music. But it was security and education. It wasn't about all that. It was about all the surfacey stuff. The Newark Renaissance is about the very same sort of surfacey stuff. Entertainment, art. Not about the core problems that plague inner city America. Not about fixing the damn education system so you can have a educated workforce ready to go, ready to start businesses in urban America organically, not waiting for somebody else to come in and do it for you, so you can sustain it. But it's bowing and kowtowing to unions so they can hold their power and possession, and position and prosperity, to have a stranglehold on urban America because that's their bread and butter. Now you may think, and this is how a lot of people get twisted. You may think, of course, well, there's no money in urban America, but teachers make money and unions make money from teacher dues. And especially in the Northeast, where you have got to be in the union. A lot of those shops are closed. You've got to be in the union to actually teach. It's one of those things you just sign up for. You know, what's interesting, even here in Tampa, one of the things that when I started teaching, I don't teach anymore, but when I started teaching, one of the things that what just sort of showed up was an application to join the Classroom Teachers Association. And it was given to me by somebody who worked at my school. The application just came with everything else. It wasn't like the rep came to me and said, "Hey, Willie, you probably need to sign up for CTA." Well, that happened later, but the paperwork was passed out by I don't want to say the administration, but it was passed out by people who worked for the school. That's how tied in they were. So, of course, a young teacher, I didn't know my butt from a hole in the ground, or from Shinola. So I just started filling out paperwork, and before I knew it, I was a member of this Classroom Teachers Association. And even more amazingly, that I was paying dues. That my little bitty check, my little bitty itty bitty freaking itty bitty check, part of that was being shipped off for CTA dues, and the amount of the dues did not even show up on the check. I didn't get it. How much? It took me a few years to go, well, how much am I paying for this? After 4 or 5 years of no raises, something said to me, you know what? I know a way to get a raise, and I didn't even know how much of a raise I was going to get. I'm going to stop paying CTA dues. I don't have to be in CTA. And they didn't make it easy to get out. And after all these years, I didn't see one tick, not one single tick, on how CTA made education any better, made the plight of the children that we were in charge of one tick better. And in a lot of places, Paul's right, there's no opt-out for dues. There's no opt-out. There's no, I'll keep my money, thank you. And in some areas, it's even worse than that. They won't even write down on your freaking check stub how much your dues actually are. Are you kidding me? So that's the stranglehold that a lot of these teachers' unions, especially the large ones like NEA and AFT, American Federation of Teachers, which is part of the AFL-CIO, that makes me feel safe that the Teamsters unions are controlling what goes on in the schools. Yeah, that makes you feel safe, doesn't it? The same people who are in charge of truck drivers and the same union people are now with AFT are in charge of the unions in schools. Yeah, and they've always, the unions have always been about safer trucks and doing the best for truck drivers. No, they've been about doing what? Making damn sure that they get their money. Making sure that if you think that you are going to not have a union shop in a union area, to make sure people show up at your door to change your mind. That's what unions are about. Making sure they get their cut. And what is that? And ultimately, think about this. Where does their cut come from? Especially with public sector unions like teachers. Where does their cut come from? Ultimately, it comes from you. Ultimately, it comes from taxpayers, because that's how teachers get paid. That's how firefighters get paid. That's how police get paid. And Paul Swanson says, as a former truck driver, he says they have no vested interest in the truck drivers. They only care about the money. They only care about the money. And these are the same people who are in charge of education, especially education in large urban areas. Let there be no doubt. It didn't have anything to do with curriculum. It didn't have anything to do with the safety of students. It didn't have anything to do with any of that. It's just making sure those teachers are in unions and pay and get dues paid to the union. And if somebody, a parent, dares think to pull their child out of a public school, which may cause there not to be a teacher job or a payday for the union, you bet your sweet bippy they are going to raise holy hell and threaten the crap out of whatever politicians they can to ensure there is no opt-out, there is no option, there is no taking your tax dollars and moving them to what you believe is the best option for your youngster. There's none of that crap. So education doesn't get better in the urban community. It doesn't get better with Hillary Clinton presidency, because Hillary Clinton already is beholding to all the major teacher unions, all the major unions. It doesn't get better. You don't get more choices. You get fewer choices, and the choices that you have become more expensive, and there isn't any push to make them any better. The status quo, or worse, is perfectly okay with Hillary Clinton and her ilk. Perfectly okay. And it's the urban community that has the most to lose. In other areas of the country, people, in some of the suburban areas, people have the choice. People have enough money to say, you know what? Yeah, we're paying taxes, but that's okay. We've got money to make better choices than public schools in our area, and send their kids to charter schools and send their kids to private schools, parochial schools, because they have enough money to do so. So when the left and when Democrats keep saying, "Oh yeah, we've got the backs of poor people in America," you have got to think for yourself. That is a bold-faced lie. They couldn't give two craps about poor people. If they cared about poor people, they'd be giving poor people choice, enough choice that they wouldn't be poor anymore. They would be okay with, and I'm going to get to the third E, which is economics. They'd be okay with developing an economic atmosphere, especially in urban America, that businesses can grow organically. And they can grow organically if you have safe communities and if you have an educated workforce ready to go, so businesses could grow. So you could have both things happen. You could have the organic growing of businesses, which I think is the most vital thing. And you could have businesses come into those communities because there is a plethora of educated workforce already there, to where you don't have a situation where the biggest workforce happens to be the local government, the city government, or the state government. That's what we're talking about. That's what you're talking about. And Paul also writes in the chat room, are we concerned about her being beholden to the unions, or be beholden to her contributions for the Clinton Foundation, foreign interests? Well, that's something else. That continues the lack of concentration on urban America. Not only is she beholden to the unions, she's beholden to all those people from foreign lands who benefit, whose country benefit by making sure that people can come from those countries, get educated, take some of that education back to where they came from, or decide to stay here on visas and take those high-paying jobs that the left keeps talking about. Who take those high-paying jobs that the left keeps talking about, bringing in urban America. Isn't it interesting? All these years they talk about creating jobs in urban America, those high-paying jobs that never materialize. They never materialize. Why? Because they keep their finger and their thumb and their boot on the neck of educators in urban America. So those jobs never go to urban America. Those jobs never go to the inner cities of Detroit. They never go to the inner cities of Baltimore. They never go to the inner cities of East Los Angeles. They never go to places like Ferguson, Missouri. They never get there. Because the choice is snuffed out early to make sure that except for the few that are able to escape, which they all hold up as brilliant examples of a system that works, when actually any of the children that get out and actually make some of themselves educationally and economically are the anomaly. They're the exception, not the rule. They were able to, in spite of and despite what was being done to them, the roadblocks that the left had put in their place, they were able to navigate the bullcrap for themselves somehow. So this idea that that Hillary Clinton is down with the cause in urban America is just a lie. It's just the opposite. It's the same. You know what? Is that song, a Talking Head song? Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. What they are interested in is simply having enough people left who may or may not be in jail in urban America to vote for them, to vote for Democrats the next time around, whether it's going to be in the 2-year cycle or the 4-year cycle. That's all they care about.
You are correct, sir.
That is all they care about. If you think they care about you and what you're up to and how to benefit urban America and how to strengthen urban America and how to strengthen urban homes and how to strengthen black and brown people's families and communities, you are
wrong.
You are damn sure
wrong.
It's all they care about. And if you think that the press is going to come in like 60 Minutes and Mike Wallace and expose some of the nonsense and the bull crap, please remember this one thing.
Mainstream media is dead. You are correct, sir.
They're not. Nobody's coming to your aid. Nobody is coming to your aid. Nobody. Listen, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of Fight Back right after these messages.
Show you how I would deliver this conservative message to the black community. Can I do that real quick? I hear you. I feel you. I get it. Life in your America sucks. Your parents didn't care or weren't there. The schools pushed you out without making sure you can read. Politicians tell you that a brighter tomorrow, so you smoke as much as you can to get through today. You are tired of seeing your brothers, sons, daughters, cousins, your friends killed, imprisoned, or lost to drugs. You want to do the right thing, but all it takes is one time, one mistake for everything to go wrong. And picking yourself up seems impossible because you can't get a job when you have a record. You're sleeping on your mama's couch because you can't afford your own space. You feel unfit to parent your children because your life is so screwed up. What in the hell are you going to teach them? I get it. I know. But you are being surrounded by the people that championed your tracks. They developed your public housing. They took control of your education. They sent your fathers to jail for nonviolent offenses. Made single motherhood cool by calling it feminism. Built the police force through unionization you claim harassed you. And now when you're fed up, they give agitators reign to burn down your city. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If your friends are yelling for death and destruction, do they actually want change? Is it that what you live in now? Democrats want to be the party of the poor. In order for that to happen, they have to keep you poor. You always have to fight the oppressors. That will mean you are always oppressed. You call us the party of the rich. And I'm straight out of the state of the South. Well, I had it written down already. We just say it like you call us the party of the rich. And I'm not going to be spineless like those who run from it. I'm not rich, but by the grace of God, I will be. I love the feeling of security. I love being financially dependent on no one but myself and my husband. I love being able to provide my daughters with Nike and books, an iPad and robotics camp. It is a great feeling. Now come and eat with us. Come and eat with us. If you are tired of being poor and overlooked, come and eat at a table that believes in ownership and growth. See, we won't begrudge your success because we know that the next dinner is on you.
If you were looking for some encouraging words. There they are. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what's going to happen later on today, probably, let's see here. I'm going to have to head out to work in a little bit because I still have to work for a living. I know it's amazing that you guys don't support me enough to where I actually have to do something else. I know it seems crazy to me too. It does. It seems crazy to me that guys don't support me to the degree that I can do this full time and I don't have to go out and do something else. That makes me sad most days, frankly. But the idea is that I have to go at that, but I have to be at work in a little bit. But I'm going to put up a special program with all of Sonny Johnson's message to Right Online for 2015. That ought to encourage you. I've told people already, stay away from the TV today, stay away from the TV tomorrow, and just look for sources that are going to encourage you to continue to stay on the right path, to stay in your mind that you are doing the right thing, that you don't get discouraged in the next 20 some odd hours, that you do not get discouraged, that you don't let the spirit of discouragement get on you. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. And there ain't no better message. There ain't no better message than the one that Sonny Johnson delivered to those at Right Online in 2015. There isn't a better message. I often think, what would have been the difference at the Republican National Convention if Sonny Johnson could have stood there at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and delivered that message to America? It makes me weep that was an opportunity missed. It makes me weep that she couldn't stick that right in the face of Democrats, couldn't stick that right in the face of the, as Mike Huckabee said, the hand-wringing, bedwetting Republicans. It just makes me weep that this message was right there. It's the winning message. It makes the case. It makes the case. It was right there. And this is why Fight Back Media Group exists. Because we have to understand we can make the case. We have the people already who have made the case. But they are not being heard in the places they need to be heard. They're not being heard by the masses. Why? They're not being heard by the masses, especially because
mainstream media is dead. You are correct, sir.
And they are not interested because it destroys their narrative. I mean, Sonny Johnson blows up their narrative. Absolutely destroys it. C.L. Bryant destroys their narrative. K. Carl Smith destroys their narrative. Shirley Huzar destroys their narrative. Alfonso Rachel destroys their narrative. Kevin Batts and Janelle Batts of Red River Chronicle destroy their narrative. So as long as they can be marginalized by mainstream media, they will do just that. They will continue to do just that. It is absolutely one of the most frustrating things for me ever. And it's not just in this election cycle. It has been one of those things that has been ongoing. That really, again, it pushed me to start the Fight Back Media Group. Because it's one of those things that continues to frustrate me. It bothers me greatly. It's like having the cure to sickle cell anemia and not getting any, and not, not having a car to get around to deliver it. We can walk around and get to a few, but if we had a car, a truck, more than one car, an airplane, we could eradicate the disease. So what do we do in the meantime? We walk. We get to as many houses as we can by walking. And that's where we are now. We're still walking. Hell, sometimes we're not even walking. Sometimes because of the lack of resources, we're just standing there holding the cure to the disease of urban America in our hand, hoping that somebody sees it. We're not even moving. We don't have shoes to move. I'm telling you, some days, I'll be honest with you, some days I am discouraged. I'll be perfectly honest with y'all. Some days I am discouraged. Some days I'm angry. Some days I'm discouraged. And some days I really, I get up in the morning and I just go, my head goes, my flesh goes, screw them all. Let them all go to hell. I don't care. I don't care. You live under the boot of your master if you choose to, if that's what you want to do. I'm tired of asking. I'm tired of telling. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired. I'm just damn tired. Some days I am. I'll be honest with you. Some days I want to get up and go, screw it. I want to delete all the email lists. I want to delete the shows. Screw it. Let them all go to hell. I don't care. I do. I have more good days than bad days, praise God. I do. I have more good days than bad days. But I'd be lying to you to say that I don't have bad days. Well, like I don't care. Nothing I can do. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody seems to care. Everybody seems to be happy in their slop. And I don't just mean talking to people in the urban community. I mean trying to talk to people who are supposed to be Republicans and conservatives who are concerned with the future of their country. They seem not to listen. They seem that because they're not listening and they're not acting, more importantly, that they don't care. They don't care what I think. So what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time and my precious resources and my time away from my family when I should be working and making life for my family a lot better, a lot easier, when I should be doing something else? And I'm doing this. I tell you, some days I have days. I'm telling you straight up. Some days I have days. I'm like, But if we don't get this message, we will never heal America. Whoever wins the presidency, but it's going to be worse if Hillary Clinton becomes president. I think that this message becomes even more important if Hillary Clinton somehow slithers her snaky ass into the White House. Because we will then be under siege. We think, mainstream media would like to have us believe that if Donald Trump becomes president, urban America will be under siege. But that's
wrong.
The fact of the matter is that if Hillary Clinton becomes president, urban America will then be under siege. It will be fair game for all the leftists, all the anarchists, to do whatever the hell they want. That's what we'll be dealing with. We'll be dealing with Thunderdome in some of these places. So, all I can tell you is what I've told you in the videos today that I've put on Facebook, that stay focused. And I did a Blog Talk Radio show earlier. Stay focused today. All the way till 7 o'clock tomorrow in most places, 8 o'clock in Wisconsin. Stay focused. The get out and the vote is very, very important. Use your car as a free ride to the voting places for people. Today, Deliver absentee ballots if you have to, because I know in Florida you can't deliver them tomorrow because you can't take your absentee ballot into a voting place. There's no mechanism by which to accept them. Thank you, Paul. It's just really, really important that you do all you can. And if you are an urban conservative listening to this, do not fall in and be consumed by the atmosphere of inevitability. Know this, because it's true. You have the answer. You know. You know about work ethic. You know about doing things right. You know the importance of family. You know the importance of community. You know all the things that can save the people where you are. And I understand you get just like I get some days too, where you say, the hell with them. I don't care. Let them live on welfare. Let them enslave themselves again. I get it. But we can't. We got to have more good days than bad days. And we're going to have some bad days. But we got to have more good days than bad days. There's too much at stake. Our whole future is at stake. I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but I do believe that our future as a republic and as a community is on the chopping block. Actually, as far as Hillary Clinton goes, it's on the selling block for the next 20 plus hours. I believe that. And I will do whatever I have to in the next little bit from where I am to encourage and to push. And however it turns out, I promise you that I believe that I've done all I can from where I'm sitting. And I'm telling you straight up that I have peace. I have peace because I have done all I can. And once you have done all that you believe that you can do, you should have peace too. However it turns out, however it goes, what's most important is that you know that you've done everything you can and you have peace. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to cheat here about 2.5 minutes or so. Thanks so much for coming to Fight Back here on Spreaker. We appreciate everyone who comes. We appreciate everybody who helps with fightbackmedia.com. Go there, poke around, hit the donate button. We appreciate that. Go to paulswanson.com. Read some of the fabulous articles. Paul's posting this show up there. If you got in late and you can't hear it all, he's posting the show on the website, on his website. Please go and listen. And when you're on paulswanson.com, hit the tip jar. Hit the yellow PayPal button. It allows us to continue doing what we're doing. Because none of this is free. None of this broadcasting time is free. None of this website stuff is free. None of it's free. It all costs money. And a lot of you can help out. We're not asking for anybody necessarily to pay for it all. Although if you want to pay for it all, you want to write that check, you want to plop down that credit card number to pay for it all, I'm sure Paul doesn't mind. I know I don't mind. But what we're asking for is that we can all pull together and do a little bit to get a lot done. All pull together and do a little bit to get a lot of it done. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks again for coming to Fight Back. My name is Willie Lawson. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.